Well, that was disappointing. But I will say, not all disappointments are the same. I know we all had the empty Epstein files yesterday. I will go so far as to say, I'm not going to harp on this, but there was your local friendly podcast live streamer yesterday telling you, don't get all bent out of shape if there's nothing in these Epstein files, because these have been in the hands of the FBI for years. And it's great that we're going to get Epstein files for sure, but let's not get too disappointed if nothing's in them. I did say that. That's the last time I'm going to say that. But also, there's something else here, and I'm not good on predictions. I just try to read the tea leaves and try to figure it out like we all do. What the heck's going on with all this crap as normal people? Just because this was a big disappointment doesn't mean that more stuff's not coming. And I think the end result, I really do believe this, of all of this stuff, is that they smoked out a lot of the rats in what happened here in a little bit. And there's a lot to dig through. It's very complicated. We're going to focus on the main players here. I think the most important lesson of all was, and God love her for trying to do the work, but Attorney General Pam Bondi, she met the real swamp yesterday. We all did. I think we all got a really good lesson in what the real swamp is. We always hear that term, right? We're going to clean it. Trump, we're going to drain the swamp. Well, he didn't quite drain it all. He got about a quarter of it done the first term. This time, they're realizing what the real swamp is, the real deep state, which is real, by the way. And that's what happened yesterday. We're going to try to dig through all that stuff and talk about it. But also, there's other things to talk about. It's Friday. First of all, welcome to Friday. A great day to go shopping. Now, why would that be? We all like shopping, and guys like shopping too. Don't let us fool you. Well, it's Economic Boycott Day. We were talking about this on Wednesday. That's right. The economic boycott all over social media, where you're supposed to reject and fight back against DEI policies and retailers that have dropped their DEI, apparently. Well, I don't like being told what to do or where to spend my money or where not to spend my money, so I'm going to shop today. That's what I'm going to do, a great day to shop. But we'll tell you what this is all about, too, and see. It'll be interesting to see if this has any legs. All the people promoting it, all the organizations, they think it's going to be huge. I think it's going to have the exact opposite effect, but we'll find out. Also, this actually came out yesterday, but it got so crazy in the news, we didn't get to it. But now we've had time to digest Jake Tapper's new book. That's right, Jake Tapper, CNN. He's got a book talking about how he helped cover up Joe Biden's dementia. I kid you not. And he's profiting from it. He gaslit you, now is admitting he did it, and is profiting from gaslighting you. You can't hate the mainstream news enough. You really can't. It's just, if you had anybody in your personal life that gaslit you this bad, you'd never talk to him again. But here's Jake Tapper writing a book about it. Just unbelievable audacity. Anyway, let's get some nuts and bolts out of the way as we wait for more people to come into the live stream. And by the way, you audio listeners, yes, a live stream every single day, 8 a.m. Eastern time, right here on X and YouTube and Facebook and all that good stuff. And if you haven't found the audio podcast, wherever you get those, and that's iHeart and Spotify and Apple Podcasts, usually post about 9 a.m. Eastern time, if the algorithm is with me. That's how that goes. So all kinds of places to find it. And thank you so much for the downloads and shares in the audio podcast, too. That's grown by leaps and bounds, and that's thrilling me deliriously. It's just been a pleasure, so thank you so much for that. Let's get to the stuff. The Epstein files for normal people, right? The empty Epstein files. We've all heard about it. Somebody's going to be talking about it at work today. You've heard about it. You're interested in it. You want the truth. We all want transparency. We were told we were going to get it, not to the fault of Pam Bondi, by the way, or these so-called, let's call them MAGA influencers, because they're a big part of this story as well. I don't think anybody is to blame here. I really don't, and they've taken a lot of heat. Pam Bondi has taken a lot of flack over the past 24 hours for this. I don't think it's her fault, but like I said in the introduction, I think truly in my heart, just following news for many, many years, I think what happened was Pam Bondi met the real swamp yesterday. Not like politicians greasing the wheels, getting side deals, kickbacks, things like that. That's swampy-ish. I'm talking about the real swamp creatures, not the politicians who have been in office for years. I'm talking about the intelligence community, the deep state. Yes, it is real. And elements of the FBI that have more power than probably us normal folks ever even realized. We all know the hype that came out, and Pam Bondi said on Jesse Waters' show on Fox, I think tomorrow, which would have been Thursday, We're going to get a lot of information. We're going to have names. It's some gross stuff about the Epstein files. We were all told that. She was told that. And at the last minute, she smelled a rat while this was actually happening. Now, a big part of the story here of what happened yesterday, what we all witnessed, we were all waiting, right? I'm with you. I'm just as bad at being a news junkie, and I'm refreshing my phone. I'm waiting. Is there any information out? Is anything happening here? No. But along with this, we all saw a lot of the, I guess you call them MAGA or conservative influencers, which seems like a kind of a weird thing. But they were all there. We all saw an infamous photo, them holding up the files up like this on the steps of the building, right? And the pictures that went round the world. Let's get through this first. Why were they there? Well, in the White House, the new administration, in the effort for transparency, I don't blame them at all, have invited a lot of the people who have, true patriots too, by the way. Now, don't blame them. True patriots that have fought for years for transparency and getting information out there. They've fought for change in Washington, D.C. They've built up massive, mostly on X, but social media followers, and they were all there on the steps, right? All these characters that maybe you follow online. I follow them too, but it was weird because they were all like collected there together. Liz Wheeler is one. DC Drano, you probably know him. Nick Freitas. Mike Cernovich was there. Libs of TikTok lady who was there. Why were they there holding up the Epstein files? They didn't expect, this is the rundown of the story. They did not expect so many cameras to be there, and they were a little bit shocked by it. They all said that. The cameras were there because of a state visit from the UK. It was there. So the press was there anyway, and they caught them all with the Epstein files, and they held them up. That's why they had that picture. Is it a bad look? Because as it turns out, and they didn't even know at the time there was nothing in it. I mean, they were just handed this file and told not to post anything online. And as you'll hear here in a second, they didn't even have time to go through it. Was it a bad look to hail this up in the air when, as it turns out, nothing was in it? Yeah, absolutely, it was. But I don't think it's their fault. Let's get through it right now. The first guy, one of the guys that was there, and he got back later on the day, he talked about it. Nick Freitas, influencer, who talked about being there, why he was there, what they were told when it all happened, as we try to unravel this story here.
Yeah, I was in the room when Pam Bondi and Kash Patel, the Attorney General and the Director of the FBI, were handing these out. And right off the bat, one of the first things they said was, we're going to be releasing this to the public. What you need to understand is that there really isn't a smoking gun in the new information that we have available, except for the fact that it has become evident that certain members of the FBI have been withholding information from the Attorney General's office.
Okay, put in a time again. That's one of those influencers that was there because they're trying to, the new media. We're in the media now. Nick Freitas, who talked about the whole experience and why it happened, what happened. So put the timeline together now. When they were handed that folder, that file, they were told at the time, and that's key there, that Pam Bondi and Kash Patel said at the time, not everything we expected that was going to be here is in here. Don't publish it yet. So they knew at the time there was a rat and something was happening here. The rat, as it turns out, is the Southern District of New York. As very smart people say, all roads of corruption lead from the Southern District of New York. Now, here's the timeline of what happened. One of the influencers that was there, this is a pretty good wrap-up, and I won't go through the entire thing, but her name is Liz Wheeler. She was one of the influencers who said what actually happened here, and it all kind of corresponds to what that is. They were in there. They were all gathered because they were going to be the ones getting the word out without the mainstream media interference. They were the ones going to tell it. And she corroborates exactly what that Nick Freitas guy said. They got in there and they said, we have this for you printed out. There was going to be a news conference. We've gotten word that a lot of the information is being held back by the FBI, specifically from this Southern District of New York. That's what happened, apparently. So we all asked the question, all right, then why were they all, it was weird because we were all looking at this picture, all of these influencers, a lot of us, you're like, hey, that's what that guy looks like. Oh, okay, that's what DC Drano looks like. It's people that maybe you know if you follow news a lot, especially on X, independent journalists, people who are just voices of, MAGA movement, if you will. Well, why were they holding up the folders? Here's another one. DC Drano, you may know. Here's him talking about it. And why were they on the steps of the building holding up the thing like it was a victory march? They didn't know yet that nothing was in it, but they still wanted to say, this is us getting a hold of the information.
I held up this Epstein file book and made it clear what was in our hands. And I had a straight face. I realized the enormity of this document, or at least what we thought was in here, and raised it up high in an effort to say, we the people have taken our country back from the crooks, the pedos, the sex traffickers, and we are going to hold these people accountable. That was what I did. We fought for years.
I don't blame him. I don't blame any of them. I sure don't blame Pam Bondi. I don't blame Kash Patel. But here's the thing. Here's what's going to come from this, I think. This is my sense of the entire thing. They smelled a rat. They knew it at the time, corroborated by both of them. And because a whistleblower from that Southern District of New York had told them that they're not giving you all the information, it's not coming. Well, the rats have to expose themselves to get that done, right? That was her real meeting with the deep state. That was the real swamp, what happened here. Now the fight's really on. I mean, in my opinion, are we ever going to get the Epstein files, exactly what happened, all the detail? No. Good Lord, no. We're not going to, obviously. That's what happened there. It's been in the FBI's hands for years now. Even in the last minute when it was supposed to come out, they pulled the rug out from under them. But now, the new administration, or at least the new people in charge, the new Department of Justice, they understand who to go after. In the end, this may be a good thing for you and me, everybody else, even though that was a disappointment. I mean, disappointment, oh my God. Hey, I haven't seen anything that disappointing since Geraldo tried to go into Al Capone's cave. Little 80s, 90s reference from my fellow Gen Xers, but that's exactly what it was. But the difference is, I think in the end, it's going to be a good thing. I really, truly believe that in the end, they're going to discover this, really what happened here. And now they can focus all their efforts on this Southern District of New York and the FBI agents coming out of that area that held out this stuff. So will we ever get the true word? You ever going to get the Epstein client list? All the flight logs, even though we've seen some of them? No, probably not. But that's just scratching the surface. Probably what you're going to get is more rats exposed. In the end, you know, Elon wrote something earlier right before we went on the live stream today, and he said, you know, you don't gain power immediately overnight in this town. It takes a long time, and I think that's what we're in for. So even though it was disappointing, I know everybody was looking for something exciting. Didn't really happen, but that's okay. All right. That's all right. We didn't get to this yesterday because of all that Epstein crap. Jake Tapper wrote a book. Oh, it'll probably do well, too. There's still a lot of people that think Jake Tapper is not a propagandist. He doesn't even think he is, I don't think. But the book is amazing. The book, Jake Tapper's new book, is all about Joe Biden's dementia cover-up. Jake Tapper writing about and admitting that he was part of Joe Biden's dementia cover-up. This is incredible to me. This is absolutely amazing. If you don't hate the mainstream media and people like him enough, this is like, always apply it to your personal life. If you had a neighbor who gaslit you constantly and lied about something right to your face to try to tell you it's not happening, right? Hey, you know, I see that you're stealing things out of my front yard. No, I'm not. Okay, well, I see you right here. You're on my Ring doorbell camera. No, I'm not. Neighbor Jake Tapper says later on, yeah, I did, and I wrote a book about it. This is like the same thing. And he's going to profit off it, and he's doing well. Proof that for years, they have covered up Joe Biden's dementia. I don't know if you remember this. It was epic, though. Now, they're all yelling at each other, but there was an interview Jake Tapper had with Lara Trump in 2020 during the election cycle, way back then. And Jake was calling Lara Trump on the carpet for making fun of Joe Biden's dementia and calling it out and pointing it out on stage. And he was, oh, that's a stutter. Well, that's simply a stutter. For years, he knew. And now he's writing a book about him knowing and is going to profit off it.
I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
you have
to
no
watch somebody on stage
this is so amazing. It's so amazing to me that
try and figure out an answer.
A cognitive decline.
Well, when you're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think that you were mocking his stutter.
How dare you mock his stutter? I mean, how dare you? I mean, what kind of a person are you to mock stutter? Remember that line? Remember they tried to say it was a stutter with Joe. I mean, that was the worst propaganda, you know, around that time. The only thing worse that happened was telling us that the coronavirus came from a wet market. Remember that? God. And he was the guy saying that as well. When the Democrats, when one particular party wants to get a line out there that's just a bunch of crap, they go to sources like that. But now he's saying it's not my fault because, listen, I'm admitting it now, so that means I'm scot-free, right? It's like going to confession. You can murder somebody, 5 minutes later you're out free. The book is called Original Sin, if you're interested. The subtitle says it all. President Biden's decline. It's Coverup. Really, Jake? And his disastrous choice to run again. Sometimes there are no words on the hypocrisy coming for these talking heads. It's just absolutely amazing. But God love you, Jake. Good line of work if you can get into that. Wow. All right, it's Friday. Can't talk about politics anymore. I don't care. And this is kind of politics, but more it's like a cultural thing. We talked about this on Wednesday. Today's the day. It's arrived. Are you ready? It's the economic boycott. You're not supposed to shop today. Sharp, pun intended. Al Sharpton, one of the main voices behind this. Now, this is a protest against not really Doge per se, and not really Trump directly. This is against the retailers, big and small, that are dropping their DEI policies, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Some of those directly mentioned in the economic boycott: Target, Lowe's, who else is in here? Tractor Supply, Walmart too as well, but others. But the main thing, and I guess there's some group called the People's Union. I'm not sure whether that's Al Sharpton's organization or not. I'm not too sure, but they're all involved in this. And you can pick out, and I literally went on TikTok and I just found the first rando who was talking about this thing to try to encourage and to promote, because it's all being done through social media. The economic boycott today. You're not supposed to shop at all. Here's one rando picked off TikTok this morning talking about it.
Economic boycott? Yeah. Hell yeah. We should have been done this.
Done this.
They're playing with y'all because y'all they don't think y'all will do anything. They think people need this stuff. Too bad. Even if everybody can't do it, if a good amount of people do it, it's gonna hurt their pockets, and they will make changes immediately.
No, they're not. I think it's going to have the exact opposite effect. Well, it is in my life, because number one, I actually want to support these companies and these retailers that are dropping DEI, because it's always the worst thing. It's the opposite of what the name implies, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion. Who could hate that? Well, it's actually extremely sexist and racist is actually what it is, and it's extremely divisive. And as we've seen in the retail market, very, very bad business for everybody involved. We've seen that in Hollywood. We've seen that in retail, small business, everybody. So I want to support those stores that are dropping this thing and have the guts to drop DEI. I'll support any company that drops DEI. Here's another thing I hate. I hate that included in this is not only big retailers and the big box stores. They're actually included, and I've seen some writing on this. Don't shop at all. Even stay away from small businesses. Really? Is that right? Is that your economic boycott? You're going to hurt small businesses too? Well, I hate you for that as well. And the third thing is, most importantly, I'm like you. I don't like people telling me where to shop or where not to shop or how to spend my money. So I'm going to spend today. Did I need to spend today? No, I did not. I don't really need anything. I'm good today, but I'm going to spend. I may even go into credit card debt today. I'll go to Lowe's. I'll go to Walmart. I'll go to Home Depot. I don't know if Home Depot has DEI. I'll go to Lowe's. I think Best Buy is a big one mentioned here as well. I'll support small businesses today. I think this is going to have a boomerang effect, the likes of which they never even expected, because DEI is that unpopular once we all found out what it is. So I'm going to shop today. Here's some of the information, what we're supposed to not do. You ready for this? This is the mob telling us what not to do. No purchases. Don't shop online. Amazon's another one. No Amazon, Walmart, or Best Buy. Nowhere. Don't spend money on fast food, gas, major retailers, small businesses. There you go. They're hurting us small businesses as well. What you can do. Oh, you're going to tell me what I can do, are you? Okay. Only buy essentials of absolute necessity. Food, medicine, emergency supplies, blah, 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 blah. And spread the message. That's how we got randos like that on TikTok talking about it. Well, I'll say this. The message has certainly gotten out there. It's everywhere. It's very much trending. But we'll see. And here's how you're going to know. If we're on here on Monday and no one is talking about it, like there's no information, there's nothing trending here, even if the mainstreams try to promote this as having a major, major effect, that means it didn't work. because I think there's a lot of people like you and me who are going to go out and spend something today to support dropping DEI. That's my take anyway. But I'm also out of material, so I'm out. I got to go spend. I got to get out of here and start spending some money. Thanks for finding me. I appreciate you. Most importantly, despite all this stuff. And it was a heavy week of information. I totally get that. But thanks for sharing along. Thanks for spreading this along, by the way. And it's Friday. Let's not forget that. Have an awesome weekend. Try to forget about all this stuff. Be safe. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your family. Hug your loved ones and all that good stuff. And we'll regroup again on Monday and see the after effects of all this stuff. I think it's going to be another wild weekend, but don't get so consumed by it that it affects your life. But thanks for finding the audio podcast, too. This will be posted usually about 9 a.m. Eastern time as well. And sharing along, you audio listeners, on the live stream on X and YouTube and on Facebook and all that good stuff. First takeaway is, don't ever let anybody tell you how to shop or how not to shop or spend your money. Nobody. It's up to you. And the second takeaway is, don't take any crap from anybody, especially those folks. Have an awesome, wicked awesome weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday.